Hi, my name is. It's down there. um, I can't bring myself to say it anymore. It's not as good an idea as what I thought it was at the time. And I have decided to make a series called Tournament Takeaway, which is where I take a look at individual battles within a set of three and look at specifically the decision making within the moment, because it's often really hard when you're in the spur of the moment. You've got Altaria breathing at you and Bastion smacking you down. It's hard to come up with the right play in the heat of the moment unless you've done all the groundwork off the battlefield. So I'm gonna take a look at one battle and kind of break it down as far as I can to see if I can make better decisions next time I'm in a similar situation. I am a mid-level player. Definitely not in that top 5%. So I think I did hit the top 5% at one stage last season, but yeah, definitely a mid player. But I can smack a noob. So I feel like I do have some knowledge I can impart, especially to newer players. I'm sorry for calling you noobs. Let's move into it. The first battle I want to look at is one of the first ones I played this season against a dude called Paraplexy. He is in my Arena Australis remote Discord lobby, and I think was the top ranked in our lobby last season, or close to it. I don't think the actual top, but yeah, he's good, is what I'm getting at. And this was an open freestyle tournament, which I hadn't had much experience with. I had really only done the Sylph-themed cups. So, anyone with a bit more experience than me will look at that team and notice pretty quickly that Swampert is my only counter to Bastiodon or a Probopass if someone has one. And that's a big deal because, especially Bastiodon, when they counter stuff, they counter the crap out of them. Like, it is no contest. There's not too many even matchups against a Bastiodon. I know Probopass can just beat Bastiodon, but it's not really a convincing win. Gardevoir, Tropius, Golbat all get crushed by Bastiodon. So yeah, my team is reliant on the Swampert right off the bat. And I saw that and I thought, oh, okay, well, I guess if not everyone brings a Bastiodon or Probopass, then I might be alright. Every trainer brought a Bastiodon or Probopass. Every single one. So I was already in a lot of trouble right off the bat. But, I had to make do with what I had. So let's see how we go with it. I am looking to study Battle 3 of the set, but for context, we do need to go through the first two. So I was hoping to catch a Haunter or a Deoxys lead with the Umbreon, and it's a bit of a neutral option against almost everything else. The Azumarill being an exception there. I didn't know how the matchup actually goes, so I kept it in. And as you can see, the Meganium is getting to the Frenzy Plants a lot faster than I'm getting to the Dark Pulses. So we've both committed our shields to keeping this Meganium alive. I'm pretty sure I committed both my shields because I wanted to try and take as much damage out of the Meganium as possible, because I knew that it was going to be such a hard counter for me. This is the exact reason I had Thunderbolt instead of Magnet Bomb as my second charge move. It ended up not doing as much damage as what I thought, and then out comes the Hydro Pump and deletes me. So then Swampert comes out. I was panicking there. I probably could have gotten to a sludge wave, but in the end it didn't matter because I had enough to get to 2 hydro cannons anyway, and then it is just Baskidon versus Swampert left. And Swampert gives Baskidon a good spitshine. So I took out battle 1, which is great. Battle number 2. I thought he'd change up his lead. He didn't. So I ended up having to get right out of there. And I'm straight back in the situation that I was in the first battle. But hey, at least I'm switch locked now. I didn't work out how to turn off the sound from my game recorder until like weeks later. So I apologize for the thumping tap you're probably hearing right now. I also noticed that but as every battle's starting, you can hear with all the ones that I've got that have audio to them, you can hear this heavy. It's a real weird habit. So I'm thinking I'm looking good here because, like before, I got the Swampert in against the Baskidon. What I realise now, having seen this a few times now, is that I could have farmed that Baskidon up a lot more before taking it out with the other Hydro Cannon, sorry. Because look at that, I am one fast move away from a sludge wave. That would have flipped the whole game. I ended up losing this. Because, as we've already established, Thunderbolt does not do what I want it to do in this situation. And then, look, Paraplexy. Hydro Pump was a little bit overkill. You could have taken me out with the Ice Beam. But that's alright, it's my fault, really. So that's battle 2. So now, anyone more experienced than me, and probably even some new players, are already thinking, why not use the grass counter? Like, you've got 2 there. You've got Tropius and Golbat, both fantastic counters to... No, go away. Fantastic counters to Meganium. Why not use them? I think the answer is that I was scared of getting them locked in against the Baskidon. Because, like I said before, they're so hard countered by Baskidon. If I get it locked in against it, then I'm in a lot of trouble. So, that's why I didn't do it with the first 2 battles. But I thought for the third one, alright, the Meganium is giving me as much trouble as what I thought it would. So, here's a good idea. Let's bring a grass counter. I decided to lead with the Tropius. And again, I apologize for the audio. I'm like, hey, eat my Tropius. And he's like, here's Altaria. I messaged him on Discord afterwards. I'm like, the Altaria? Really? And he goes, oh yeah, I figured you'd lead with Tropius. He's good enough that he figured it out before I did. So, I switch into the Probopass, which is needed to take on the Altaria. He brings in his Meganium. And I let this one through. Like I said, I've seen this video a few times. This particular matchup makes me cringe. He's now down to no shields, which is pretty good for me. I get the Rock Slide out. And I use another shield. That Why? I couldn't get to another charge move. Like, there is no point in... Okay, so... I've got the Tropius in, taking on the Altaria, missing a couple of targets there, because why not? I've committed my last shield to try and keep the Tropius alive. Which is a bad idea, for reasons we'll figure out later. Or some people probably already know the answer. Have a think, why is that a bad decision that I used my last shield keeping the Tropius alive? Managed to get off a sludge wave. Great. Doesn't quite kill it. And Altaria gets off a sky attack with probably 0.5 of a HP left. In comes the Tropius, finishes off the job. And check out Bastiodon. This is why the Tropius just wasn't necessary, because it was hard countered by the Altaria and the Bastiodon. So spending my resources trying to keep it alive just wasn't really necessary. Probably damaging. You know what this matchup's like? If you're walking along and you see a leaf, and you pick it up and you walk over to a rock and just brush the rock with the leaf, that's what this matchup's like. That Bastiodon didn't even feel anything. So, I lost that game. How could I have played that differently to try and save it? This is assuming a scenario where I have led with Tropius and have met an Altaria. Is there any way I can reverse my fortunes there, turn that around to win? So my first thought was just to let the Tropius go down, because the Tropius is the least valuable of the three. Yes, I need it as my Meganium counter, but Probopass can beat the Meganium. If it's got no shields and I've got an energy lead, then the Swampert can hit it with a Sludge Wave. There are situations where the other Mons can take out the Meganium. So I've punched this into pvpoke.com's training feature. I've brought my Mons in and put Paraplex's Mons in, and I've just recreated the battle. See if I can put into place these things that could have turned the battle. So here I'm letting the Tropius go down. I'm not using the shield. Probably should have played this at twice the speed, because it's pretty hard waiting for it, but that's okay. We live and learn. I managed to get out another Leaf Blade, which is great. I say great just because it feels nice. Like, it doesn't actually do anything to the Altaria that double resists grass. So then I bring out the Probopass. It charges up a lot before bringing out the Bastiodon. I get out the Swampert, which is that situation that I keep saying is like my ideal scenario. I'll just let this go, because Stone Edge doesn't do much. And I learn at least this one bit, which is to farm it up a little more. Ended up managing to take out the Bastiodon just with mud shots, which I was surprised by. Altaria comes out with the sky attack, and look, I knew that it had charged up a lot. I didn't think it had enough for 2 sky attacks. I was thrown off by that one, so I ended up having to burn both my shields. Meganium comes out. I go with the Sludge Wave. It's got a shield. So that doesn't really help me here. Probopass does have a Rock Slide saved up. It takes out, that's probably a third of Meganium's health. There's another Rock Slide. But because I've now got no shields left, Meganium can build up to an Earthquake and just knock me out of the park. Just bam. Out of there. So, played that one wrong. I thought, let's try that again. I'm sure that I can make this work. So, I'm going to do it again. Tropius going down. And same thing happens as before. I get out the Aerial Ace and then a Leaf Blade. These are all on default IVs, if you're wondering. Not gonna spend all that time entering my own Pokemon's IVs because ain't nobody got time for that. Alright, and Altaria goes down. So, for this one, I asked myself, what if I brought out the Swampert? That's not what I actually did though. I stuck with what I originally intended to do, bringing out the Probopass. But that gave me an idea for the next battle that I did. Spoilers. So, it's now the Probopass versus the Meganium. And I don't know if you're counting the fast moves that Meganium was putting out. From memory, I think it's 9 Vine Whips to build up to an Earthquake. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, I figured out that Meganium had built up enough for an Earthquake, and so I kept shielding because I was like, this could be an Earthquake at any time. Meganium uses its other shield. It's now 0-0, and you know, Meganium played me like a fiddle. Baited out both my shields and now gets up to an Earthquake pretty quickly. My Probopass is gone. And now I don't have much to take on the Altaria. And that's the interesting thing about these 3 Mons that I picked, is that Altaria is now actually a bigger problem than the Meganium. You probably would have seen... This is a bit jumpy, I don't know why, sorry about that. You would have seen that the Meganium... once it got the Probopass out of the way, was able to delete the Swampert. I looked it up on PvPoke before. A single Frenzy Plant from a Meganium does enough damage to take out 1.5 Swamperts. That's a lot, if you're wondering. So, I thought I'd change up my tactic. I tried that twice where I had let the Tropius go down. Didn't work. So, for the third retry, I decided that I would keep the Tropius alive, and why'd that play like that? Hang on. That's meant to play from the beginning. Just hold on a sec. Whoops. Yeah, alright, Alright, we're back. Let's see if I fixed it. Okay, here we go. So, I decided to keep the Tropius alive, and instead of bringing out the Probopass, like I alluded to before, brought out the Swampert. Wasn't exactly sure what I was thinking there. And I let the sky attack go through, which is, I find weird as well, to be perfectly honest. I go for the Sludge Wave, and Altaria blocks it. And Meganium comes in and just wrecks me. But now, the AI is switch locked. So, I now have my Tropius left to take out the Meganium, and I've got Probopass, which can take out the Bastiodon. Not the Bastiodon, the Altaria. But I really need Probopass to be able to take out both the Altaria and the Bastiodon, because I now have just the Tropius left, and that's not going to do much against the Bastiodon. So here's that matchup: Bastiodon versus Probopass. Now you can see I have 2 shields there. But really, taking out that Meganium has opened the door for me. Because the AI only had Bastiodon and Altaria left. And Probopass is such a hard counter to both of those. It's now taken out the Altaria. It can do as much damage as to the Bastiodon as possible before going down. I think I still had 2 shields left. Yeah, I did. So I just used 1 there, and I'm just going to keep this thing alive as long as possible to try and take out as much of the Bastiodon as I can. But remember, my last Pokemon is still Tropius, and it's on, I believe, pretty low health. So this isn't over yet. There's another Thunderbolt, and eventually it's going to shield. There it is. There's that last shield. It is now shieldless. I repeat, shieldless. Can I get to another Thunderbolt? No, I can't. Does it take me out? Yes, it does. So, Tropius has to do the rest of the work. Fires off a Leaf Blade. I think I had enough for 2 Leaf Blades charged up. And that proved to make the difference. So I managed to get the win. Well, I mean, took 1 more Air Slash, but I got there. I did it. So, let's recap. How did I turn that around? I led the Tropius into the Altaria. Bad start. I took out this Swampert instead of the Probopass. And that is so weird to me, because I would have thought that, like, I was thinking the whole time that my Swampert was the key to my success, and it wasn't. The Swampert got just absolutely deleted. That allowed me to take out the Meganium very quickly, and that opened the door to everything else. Is there a nice, I guess, pithy way of summarizing that in like a lore, a rule that I can remember for next time? I guess don't necessarily look just at the hard counters. It is important to know, in fact, probably maybe even more important to know what the close matches are like, because knowing that Azumarill beats your Probopass, knowing that the Probopass beats the Meganium and the Bastiodon, that enabled me to turn things around. The Pokemon that I had that got hard countered, I just let that go. Tropius was hard countered as well by Bastiodon, but like the Pokemon that I thought was such a key for me because it would counter Paraplex's Bastiodon, it wasn't as important as I thought. So that's my takeaway. If you've got any ideas as to how else I could have fixed that situation, if you've got any suggestions as to what team composition I could have come in with on that last battle, there's that. I'm going to hide that here. There's that team again down the bottom there. If you want to take another look, what do you think is kind of the optimal line to go in with against him? And I look forward to your comments. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.